Hello, our lovely Girl Awakening listeners. Welcome to 2023. I'm Jo Hendy from the Sacred Sister Project.
I'm Amanda Parker of Mayala Organics.
Come with us as we journey into this week's Awakening episode.
I talk to a spirit.
Hello, Amanda.
Hello, Jo.
It's our lucky Wednesday again.
Our blessed day of the week.
Yes, our favourite day of the week. We have another. Well, I'm going to hand it over to you, actually.
Oh, well, it's a bit of a joy today. We have a past guest, one of our early guests on Girl Awakening, Nikki Symons, who's joined us here today to share. She shared so much back in the beginning, but, as you know, times have been happening. And she's going to share her awakenings that have been happening since she was here first. If you wish, you can go back to the beginning and listen to Nikki's podcast back then, and A Path to Wellness, which is now A Path to ONEness. Very, very special upgrade in that change.
Yeah.
so much to go on here today. It's like wild.
Yeah.
But Nikki, just touching base with Nikki, is a interdimensional healer and light worker, and works with light language and light codes, and very much in the quantum space.
Around kinesiology.
Yes, with kinesiology is a major part of how that is activated in her healing space. She's got a lot she wants to share with us today, and we're going to hand over to you, Nikki. Welcome for coming in.
Thank you very much, ladies. Lovely to be here again.
Yeah.
Yes, and I just love that upgrade that you just said. I'm like, yes, we are all in upgrade energies at the moment, aren't we?
We all love an upgrade, don't we?
Yes,
Yay.
we do. Yeah, and we are. Even from last time I was here, the energies are definitely more upgraded, aren't they?
Yeah. So it feels like literally light years since you were here last.
It does.
Yeah, probably in some quantum field, it probably is like years, isn't it?
I agree.
Well, it would probably have been around October last year, so it's literally nearly a year.
Yeah.
So if we look at it, it's probably, we can change it to a light year because,
No,
Earth time,
absolutely.
light year time.
Well, it is like light years. Time is actually speeding up. It's a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's actually, as more light is entering our planet, time is actually speeding up. It's a real thing.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that for our listeners, just so they understand?
I'll try and explain as much as I know. As of what I'm informed of. So we are in this era of more light. We know that, right?
Yeah.
So more light is coming into the planet. And so as more light comes into our planet, it actually essentially speeds time up. So we are receiving this light into this planet at this moment, and that is actually a real thing. So every 26,000 years, I believe, the planet actually tips into more light. So it's cycles of light. Okay, so we've had the dark ages, which we come out of, and that holds density, and so essentially time seemed more dense and heavy and thicker, and therefore time was slower.
Wow.
And now that we have this light coming into our planet, it is a real thing. This ascension, this awakening is actually a real thing. It couldn't have happened. We couldn't have ascended and awoken, 50 years ago, because it was denser. The energies were denser.
That's so interesting. So when someone talks about lightness of being, for some reason, I vision light, like the sun creates light, and we can turn on a light to brighten up a space. But it's a bit of both, isn't it? It's the lightness of being, as in the feeling of lightness, but also there's light, as in the light, we can switch on a light and it can be bright light coming in on as well. It's kind of a mixture of both.
Yes.
Kind of?
Yes. Yeah. I
like
get
it's light, you know what I mean? It's a
Yes.
feeling of lightness inside.
That's
And it's
right.
also the light of, not in the dark anymore.
Not in the dark anymore.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes, because those dark ages were, it was a real thing. It was astrologically, galactic lineup, etc.
Yeah.
There was not enough light coming into the planet. And so now the planet has tipped on, it's like a photon belt where we are situated. It's allowing more light to come in from the galactic core, from the galactic center, through the portals of the sun. There is more light coming in. So we can ascend. That's why we are awakening. That's why everyone's talking about ascension. Everyone's having these mass awakenings. And there is just more potential and more light, and we are lighter. We're feeling lighter and lighter. And you can't deny it. Even those the most negative of people out there can't deny that they feel different.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't feel different right now?
Yeah.
Some people can't explain it because they're not aware potentially of what's actually really going on behind it. But surely they must be feeling a little bit different
Something,
now.
yeah.
Something's different.
Yeah.
And then, us, obviously, we've tapped into it and we have a bit more of an understanding, perhaps, of what's happening. We can actually go, yes, well, it's actually a real thing. We've all heard about ascension, the fifth dimension. We've all, many of us have actually heard of what that actually is and what that means. And so we can go, yes, okay, that's what's happening. That's what's happening with this light.
Yeah.
And that's like what you were saying about the lightness of being and what you were explaining, Nikki, about the ascension process. That's like a recalibration of our physical bodies, isn't it? Like, the actual lightness of being, like, we might experience this process that we're talking about now as like being sick or, detoxifying. Cleanse and detoxify card. So there's different ways that we feel this. It's not all about being, It's like, I need to improve my diet. I'm feeling like I want to exercise more. Or, I've had this, coming. We were just saying about a coming and going of like flu-y type things or congestion. We won't go into that, the whole other field of, what we've been going through the last few years, but talking around ascension and light bodies, our body is physically trying to recalibrate and change as well as our spirit soul journey.
Yes, that's right. Yes, as we tap into this more light, we feel lighter, right? So we actually it's breaking down so many barriers and beliefs and walls and physical and energetic and spiritual constraints and beliefs, so that we are coming back into our true essence of self, our true self. We're coming back to more love and more light. And so essentially we want to feel good, right? We're in these energies now where it's light's coming in and we go, I want to feel good, so I want to feed my body with things that make me feel good. I want to talk about things that make me feel good. I no longer want to engage in conversations where we talk about other people, and it's quite derogatory and have a little laugh about someone, that doesn't feel right anymore. Doesn't feel right anymore. The new energies allowing us to come back to our true I am essence of love and light. We are all love and light. You scratch away at the hardest heart and you'll find a pot of gold under there. It's only through experiences that have made people that way, made them so dense, and that's just come again from the past. Look, so we are ascending. We're in this the fifth dimension people talk about. It's not a place that we're going to. It's within us. It's an expansion of consciousness. And I said we couldn't actually go into this space in those dark ages when it was more dense, but we are still kind of living in the aftermath of that energy. It's like the energy of those dark ages is like PTSD. It's in the consciousness. It's in the consciousness. It's in the quantum field, right? Nothing is, everything is, it's not linear, right? So all time and space is all happening at the same time. And this is where I will go into like that quantum field at some stage. We're talking about that. But living in the aftermath of those energies. So we have ascended. This earth has actually had a shift of consciousness herself. Because Gaia has a consciousness. Humanity has to catch up. Okay, so we do have to catch up. We have got a lot of work to do, but fortunately this light coming in is assisting in us enabling to do that and going, okay, like we said, yes, we need to look after ourselves and have positive thoughts. So the positive thoughts, if we can talk about that, if we're living in the aftermath of the dark ages, and everything is thought is what shapes our reality. Okay, and we're all talking about that. Most people are kind of aware of that now, that it's our thoughts that shape our reality. And potentially our thoughts that we have right now might have come from, if they're quite negative, from past experiences that we've had. Okay, so that becomes a belief, doesn't it? If there's an experience, an unhealed life experience or trauma, the resonance, the energetic resonance of that, which is energy, is still trapped within our physical energetic systems. So we have this vibration, and it's the vibration of those negative experiences that then are going to shape your reality.
Yeah.
But we are realizing that again. So this newer frequencies, the light coming in, is allowing us to realize all of these magical things that we can change and shift. But we have to change it now. We have to learn how to shape our thoughts, and realizing that every single thought, you are programming the quantum field. You're programming your future. Your reality is based on your thoughts. Okay, so that's great. So the earth has shifted. Humanity now needs to ascend. Humanity needs to waken up more to that level. We still have these dense energies of those dark ages here because they're in the quantum field. Okay, they're in the consciousness of our ancestors. It's been handed down cellular memory through the generations. Okay, so there's still those programs there from those times. I mean, in those times there was lots of tragedy. You know, and lots of wars. It really was really dense, and that energy kind of is still here. But we can change that. We can change it when we realize it, that we are not those thoughts. We are not that energy. So it's up to us.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question on that because God, that's just so amazing, and I totally resonate with everything you're saying. And the thing that I get is that, you know, with all of those heavy densities that have happened in the past, you know, with wars and all of that kind of stuff, how do we clear that? Is it just a soul at a time, or a being at a time, or, you know, is it just us clearing our own thoughts in each moment and then hopefully the collective are doing the same? Or is it a collective thing where we have to at some stage, you know, all wake up? You know, I know there's a lot of people, it's not really coming out what I'm thinking, but
saying, like, which is the switch? Is it a group thing, or is it an individual thing?
Is it just, because I get the feeling it's just an individual thing, you know, where if we just continually watch our thoughts and be able to clear them in each moment, and if we're all doing that, we can actually clear that dense like traumatic energy that's sitting in the space that has been sitting there for eons.
I think it is, Joe. I think that was what was coming through when you were talking there, is that, oh my gosh, yes, like, even by you saying that, you are now, you have just cleared, because I found it clearing, you've just cleared some ancestry right there, in that knowing. It's just in that knowing.
Oh God.
That's right. And this is the message that needs to be shared. You know, this is the stuff that needs to get out there, is that we can clear that collective consciousness and that density just by having that awareness. You know, and when we're feeling like inside as a person, we're feeling heavy, or we're feeling, you know, we have our own traumas, knowing that came from somewhere, right? It's came from somewhere. It's not you. You are not that person that has that trouble. You know, you're not that person that has that unworthiness or whatever it is. You are not. You've got to know it came from somewhere. So it came, yes, from ancestry. It came from your past life. It came from those times. This is newness right now. We are in new times. We are new human. We are new human. We are not who we were.
That's where you talk about the light. There's extra light coming in to support us.
That's right. It's constantly pouring in, more exponentially, allowing us to change exponentially. The light coming in is so potent and so powerful. But yes, it does flush out your density. It is going to kind of come up, you know, and show itself to you. So when something shows itself to you, you know, like new moons and full moons, and a new moon now, aren't we? Something's showing up. It's not you. Hey, that's not you. If it's come from somewhere, it's come from thought. It's probably come from your own thoughts, which were programmed in because of someone else's thoughts. Either in the collective consciousness, your ancestors, your past life, or all the traumas that's happened on this earth. So yes, they are still here. Just being aware of that and saying that is not this energy. Like I said, the earth's moved through that, right? She has ascended. So no, it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It's only in your mind that it's
Yeah.
there. Right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
We
here.
feel that, hey, it's almost like
Undermined,
we're still plugged in some way, and it's about just simply unplugging ourselves from it.
Yes,
Yeah.
from that reality,
Yeah.
that reality that you think is your reality.
Yeah.
Right? When you wake up in the morning and you go, oh, you know, like for example, your partner, okay, and you, the energy is like, oh, you wake up and it's dense because you're thinking about your partner and how you don't align, or your work, or you wake up and you're thinking about your, you know, the heaviness that you're going through, the traumas perhaps, right? You wake up in the morning, the first thing you think about is, oh, what's going on in your life? Those are the most potent times of the day to reprogram your field, because the more you think about that, you're plugging that straight back into your field, your reality. Okay, so when you wake up in the morning, and yes, you know, you open your eyes and you might think, oh, you know, I've still got this going on, it feels really heavy. It's in those moments where you go, okay, so this is my reality, but this actually came from me somewhere. I've programmed this in, like we talked about, from ancestors' own life, etc. So it's not real. So if I can detach then my thoughts, my ego mind from my I am, okay, which is in your heart, and I'm going to pull my ego mind out, and I'm going to be the observer watcher. If I am not, therefore, this reality, if I'm not this person who feels unworthy or unconfident, or if I'm not this person who has physical illness, or I'm not this person who has children who are unwell, etc., whatever it is going, if I'm not that, if I'm not this kinesiologist, if I'm not a psychic or a counselor, if I'm not that person, because everything you are right now has come from your thoughts, if I'm not that, what am I? You are everything, and everything that you want to be. You are a blank canvas. Everything in your life is there because you put it there in the first place. So if you don't like it, pull yourself out and come back to that 0 point field, that nothingness, because thought is just energy. Energy can be transmuted. How powerful is that? So your life can be transmuted. Your life can be.
I mean, I freaking resonate big time with everything you're saying. I'm riding the Nikki wave right now, but right then you were talking about, which I'm gathering is the identity, and there's a lot of talk around this whole dropping who we think we are and dropping the identity of who we think we are.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I think that's the same kind of what you're saying.
Absolutely. Same thing. Same.
Yeah.
Look, all the information is in the quantum field. It's in the etheric web. Okay. And we all tap into it in our own way, and we interpret it in our own way.
Yeah.
And that's not with this beautiful energy coming through. We're actually able to read the etheric web. We're able to read what is coming through for you.
Yeah.
Whereas before, with the density and the whole, identity and the whole heaviness of your life, and
it was like hard to see.
You can't see the wood for the trees.
Yeah.
You couldn't, because you wake up every day like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
You get up. You're programmed. We were programmed. You get up. You go to work. You come home. You feed your kids. You go to bed again and again and again. And now it's different. You wake up and, wow, I can program my day. I wake up, how would I like my day to look? Well, before you go to bed.
Yeah.
How would I like my day to look tomorrow? And you wake up and you
Freedom
go
of
straight
choice.
into those energies that you thought about before you went to sleep. Go back into those energies when you wake up, and you first thing you do out of program is you think about your day and how it was the same as the day before and the day before that, right? You are programming that back in.
Yeah.
I don't want the same day. Today's I want to be different. So wake up in the morning and then get rid of that identity. It's when you're human, you can reprogram. You know, your light body can be reprogrammed. We can reprogram our energy fields, and therefore our thoughts, into a whole new way of being.
Amazing. And then we add stories to the thoughts.
And we add stories
the
to
identity.
affirm it.
Yeah.
And then it comes back in again. That's right. So, you do, because you know old trauma's programmed in the amygdala, and so it will attract. So as things are coming up for you, it finds a match. Okay, so that's as things come out, it finds a match. So when you see it, it's playing out for you again, because the energy of whatever of your old trauma is just energy.
Yeah.
And it's the law of attraction.
Yeah.
It's going to attract the same in again.
Beautiful.
So knowing that you are energy and you can reprogram your fields. So all trauma and stress and unhealed life experiences, etc., are stored as energy in the physical and energetic systems of the body. They can be transmuted so it doesn't program again. And that's what I've been shown to do. When people come in, it's unconscious. It could be past life, could have come from the astral realms, that kind of trauma, and find out where it's coming from so we can transmute it.
Yeah.
So that it no longer is being programmed into your quantum field, into your reality.
Yeah.
So you can enjoy these new earth frequencies.
And it's
how
very
cool is
subtle,
that?
isn't it, too, Nikki? Like, it's a very subtle shift. Like, I mean, it can be big,
Sometimes,
it can be
yeah.
felt quite, but most of the time it's very subtle.
I think that's what we talk about sometimes with the mundane, when we bring up
Yes.
the mundane, like it can be subtle in the mundane space, but then there's...
But massive in the, in the ethereal space.
Yeah.
It's,
Because I've been hearing a lot about the Earth's gravitational field changing as well. Like our density is, Gaia's density is physically changing as well. Like there's less gravity, if you want to put it that way. Like the it's to do with the polarity in the Earth. There's a particular scientist Pam Gregory's spoken to, some incredible cosmic genius who's done all this work around that space. So that kind of
makes sense,
correlates
doesn't it?
with, like we're less pulled into the Earth.
Yes.
We can be lighter on the Earth, and there's the light energy coming through that's also available to us. So the whole lightness of being and the ascension is being fully facilitated.
Absolutely, yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. And something else I heard. So this is something I'm going to start tapping into, because I feel like so I don't want to backtrack. So going on that, yes, I actually heard that in the galactic core. Okay, so we've got these 26,000 year cycles where we go into more light. Now, apparently, from memory, I think we've had 66 of those. Okay, but apparently in the galactic, closer to the galactic center, where the other planets are that are more light, they're closer to that galactic core, so that they have less, their cycles are shorter. So apparently we have the Earth has been pulled into closer.
That's why it feels like it's speeding up.
Yeah, so we've been pulled closer to this galactic core.
Right.
This is something I want to go.
My head's just starting to
I know it's a little bit too.
It's fantastic. It's a beautiful.
It's all linked,
yeah.
though.
Yeah,
It's
that's
really
right.
fun.
So I resonate with that.
Yes.
If I heard that a couple of years ago, I probably would have gone, oh god, that sounds a bit. But yes, we're now with ascension, as we are expanding our consciousness, we're able to actually tap into these realities, to these theories, whereas before they were just seeds. Years ago I had the seed that the timeline split, etc., and the seed that the fifth dimensional consciousness. It was a seed. I didn't fully understand it, but now my consciousness has expanded. I fully understand it, and I can believe that this Earth has been got closer to this galactic core. So I am going to learn a little bit more about the galactic history. That's something I'm going to be going to learn about, and more about our own light body technology and more technology. So,
and I love the way you say learn, because basically you're tapping into your guides and out here as much as you are into physical resources such as books and records. There's a lot of different types of records you're tapping into.
It's all in the etheric web, isn't it? That's what, it's all in there for us to learn from. Everything that I have learned over the last 3 years was guided by Source, but they have shown me it's like this 3 year. I see it as a 3 year thing. It's like, okay, we've taught you all you need to know, which I haven't even talked about here today, but that's in these astral realms of stuff that I've been shown, that I do in my sessions, How to Clear, and I see it's like that. Okay. And during those times, I kind of felt like I wanted to go and learn stuff, but they would say, no, we're going to teach you everything. I think I mentioned that last time.
Yes.
And I learned it my way, so I could anchor it in the way that they wanted to show me. But then sometimes I'd go and read something about, for example, like soul retrieval or timeline travel, and I would read how they were doing it, and I would say, well, that's exactly how I've been doing, or in my own way, very similar, same type thing.
It's just like the validation.
That's right. So I'm going, yes, there's other people out there doing. And I remember having this session a few months ago with this lady, because I collapse timelines, right, and create new timelines as well, and close portals and gateways where dark and dense energy comes through. And, I've been doing this and it's what's showing up for me, and it makes massive differences to my clients. They'll literally come back and just feel completely different. And I had this session once with this lady, and during the session, she said that I had several open portals on my body, and then at the end of the session, she closed all these timelines. And I went, oh, where did you learn to do that? And she said, I just channeled it by source. And I said, yes, me too.
Wow.
So again, validation that
Yeah.
what I was doing was real.
Yes.
So that was really potent. So the galactic, the history of the galactics. Now there is a teacher that I'm going to learn from her. Because she's been learning it for like 20 years. So I feel like my guides have given my little wings.
Yeah.
They've said, off you fly.
Yeah.
Little angel,
absolutely.
now you can go and learn
fun
things
time
in
for
your
you.
own way. And that they are guiding me, because there's so many incredible teachers out there that have learnt this stuff and teach it. And so I don't want to go in the wrong direction, but they are guiding me. Now, she is a seer and a scientist. And she's actually got like a double degree, more than a degree, what's the one above it, whatever that might be.
Like a PhD.
Double PhD. But she's also tapped into all this. So I'm going to learn that from her. And I feel like that's where they're showing me to go. And so I'll come back in 6 months' time, and I'll let you know some stuff in relation to all of that.
It's like Barbara Ann Brennan, I think it is, that when she changed a lot of energy around like things like Reiki and the quantum energy field, and she was a NASA physicist, and then moved into the quantum field and sharing, how that the living consciousness aspects, which I love when you're talking about this person that you're going to lean into for your learnings, has that intellectual aspect, but also the consciousness around this whole etheric
the bit I'm missing.
No,
Sorry, I'm laughing over the intellectual bit, because I feel like that's the bit that was missing out of all my learning. So I was saying to my guys, look, I'm doing all this stuff, but I have no idea what it means.
Yeah.
Well, what is intellectual? I mean, is it being able to tick a box or answer pass an exam, or is it to learn from whatever source and know and apply? I mean,
Who says,
what is intellect?
Well, it's for me, it's the theory behind it, because I'm chuckling, because I feel like my guides they threw me into it. So through that whole like COVID era is where I had to really learn the stuff that I've learned in the astral realms, or the darkness closing all the portals and all the stuff that I do. But I had no theory behind it, right? So, but remember me saying last time I was here that I'm not an overthinker, so I'm a perfect candidate for it.
That's why.
That's why.
Yeah.
Because I didn't question, well, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? Like, well, how does that? It's just do it.
Yeah.
And I've done it, and now
Very
I feel like they're going, now
quality.
you can go and learn the theory to back this up.
It's funny.
But in the galactic space.
Yes. I love that you've said that, because a couple of things. First, just very quickly, that Esther and Jerry Hicks, who channel Abraham, when Abraham came through to her, she was blown away, because she said, I'm not the thinker. I don't ask the questions. I just sit and watch, and that's why they chose her and not Jerry, because she had no thought.
There you go. There we go. They needed someone to do this dark work and clear all these entities that wouldn't think about it too much.
Absolutely.
Because I do get my clients obviously come in, and I have to be really mindful. Like, once I've done a session, when I read back, and I have to assess that person and make a judgment on whether it's okay for me to tell them what came up. Because if I am clearing dark entities and things like that, if they're an overthinker, I don't want them to go away. It's already in their subconscious. They've got this trauma, this negative energy, and it's creating more thoughts. So it's absolutely right, Jo. And I have to, when I read back, and like, even if I'm working into past lives, or if I'm working in the astral realms with the soul families and the soul attachments and all the things that are there, I have to make sure that person's, I'm not going to re-traumatize them by telling it to their conscious mind. But so, I learnt my lesson, because I was telling one lady, look, I just, cleared their little portal, there's some entities there, and cleared them off. You see the look on her face. Yeah. And I instantly had to stop and go, so you just had a lovely clearing. You're going to feel wonderful now. And yes.
So there's holes in me.
It's my responsibility from you,
So
I have to tune in. And,
so I now say at the beginning, I'd say I've got some clients that go and they go, tell me everything.
Yeah, like me.
Tell me everything. Jo was one of them. I want to know everything.
Yeah.
So are you able to share a little bit around, you've touched on a couple of times around the timelines and how that's changing, and you've been doing a lot of work in that space, as you said, you're collapsing timelines, and it's part of what you do in your practice.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of, again, with this ascension process and the light energy, and there's been a lot of change in the talk and the understanding around what timelines actually are.
Yes, I know. Like even my not understanding, but something's coming through for me as well. I do work with timelines, and I know now some people are saying, but it's one great big ocean, there are no timelines. Okay, so it's where you are at, with that. No, yeah, so timelines, with 2 timelines at the moment. I'll talk about those, and then the timelines that I work in, which are personal timelines, the Earth.
Yeah.
2 timelines, right? Big timeline split, New Earth.
Oh, yes.
And then we've got the lower Earth, which we've talked about. So where humanity is at the moment, there are those who are here to fully ascend, and New Earth is where we will be traveling. Yeah. Okay, and that is, we talked about new communities, new technology, new everything. Okay, a whole new way of living. No more wars, no more poverty, none of that. That's is beautiful. And this is the energy we are in at the moment. I know, yay!
I want to go there now.
And some people are calling that the 1,000 years of harmony, isn't it? 1,000 years of love, or 1,000 years of peace, or whatever. But there's
Sounds
the
good.
Opportunity.
Yeah. Yes. And so, like for me, like when hubby would go, the Earth is doomed because in 20 years, if we don't change,
The sun's
I
going to die.
would just go. It
just
just didn't feel right for me.
Yeah.
It's like, no, but that's not where I'm going.
Yeah.
That's not my timeline. I'm not. Whether it, I'm not just burying my head in the sand. It's like literally, I wasn't shown that, and I wasn't shown it because I wasn't meant to, because I am then putting that into the field.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to have that density of those thoughts into my reality, because I am here to receive this light, to help with assisting the ascension process and program this new earth energy into the field, into the collective consciousness. And that's what my role at that.
That's your personal timeline. Yeah.
My personal timeline.
Yeah.
Once I did go down all the rabbit holes, and I learned all about the density and the negativity on this earth and what was happening, I had to close the book and go, okay, done that, I understand that. I'm not an overthinker, so I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to beam the light coming in through the galactic core and hold this light. Now the slower timeline, the lower timeline is perhaps that will play out, right?
Yeah.
So not every human is here to ascend, because we've got this more light, this quickening. So they're here to come in and ascend to their level as quickly as they can.
Yeah.
But they might not necessarily ascend to the level of, say, someone else who will ascend into those new frequencies. So there's those 2 timelines. That's to me the Earth timelines. Okay, personal timelines. When we talk about what we program into our field, so say for example, I'm going to point to the ceiling here and say that's my true north, that's my most abundant, joyful timeline. Okay, and I want to stay on that. It's not easy to stay on it, because we do have, like I said, old programs and old experiences, and they are still playing out. They're still showing up in my body as energy, and they are essentially going to activate another timeline, right? A lesser timeline, which is off its path. And so we can. There's so many ways that we can change those timelines and collapse them. And some of the work that I do with my clients is I'm able to go into those old stories and transmute the energy of that trauma, transmute it from the field, so that I can collapse that timeline, so that the soul actually won't go on that timeline.
You'll come back and align
come back
itself.
into alignment. Yes. Sometimes fear, I think we talked about this, or anxiety can actually be a soul knowing that there is a negative timeline set up, and something potentially traumatic or challenging is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
And so they come in with all this anxiety and through muscle testing, because I'd still use the principles of kinesiology and access their subconscious mind.
Well, you're still dealing with a human body.
I'm still dealing with the human body,
Yeah.
that's right. So, we tap into that, and they'll go, okay, and then ask their soul and tap into where that's coming from, so I can transmute it for them. And then yes, I asked to transmute or collapse the timeline, and I can feel it, because the way that I work, I feel things change, and I can feel this shift. And it's absolutely so powerful and so beautiful. And so that's where we have to be mindful as well, is knowing, again, our thoughts could potentially set up a negative timeline. And don't go into fear if you think, oh, I've been thinking negatively, and have I just attracted something in? Just transmute that, replace it with a positive thought. Instantly.
Well, it's adrenaline and excitement in the body are physically the same chemical. But it's how we relate to the experience, is how we experience the fear or the excitement. So
you can transmute it. You can transform it.
So it's kind of like what you're saying on the spiritual, like the consciousness. It's plays out in all those different spaces. It's about the willingness to choose, isn't it?
It is, that's right. That's exactly, sensing that as a feeling and going, okay, this is energy. If energy can be transmuted or transformed, I'm feeling really terrified right now. Well, hey, that's actually just energy. What if I transform it into excitement and joy, and then
an opportunity,
and it instantly changes.
Beautiful.
Just on that too, for me, I like to, I have been using this analogy that everything's happening for me, and whether you believe that or not, that's a personal thing. But whenever something's happening around me that's bad, I'm like, okay, this is happening for me, what are the gifts? And turn it into a game, or like it's exciting, and whatever is going to come out of this is going to make me a better human,
a better experience.
Mm.
And automatically the energy, I can feel it shift in me.
Yes, because you're taking back the power. Right. So yes, I completely agree with you as well. It's like anything that's happening around you is also happening for you, because that's your reality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like this. I had a lady come in, and
God, I'm getting hot right now.
She was talking about her.
Oh, it's beautiful.
her children. She came in, and let's say little Joey, he's constantly unwell and always ill, and little Lily, for example, is always got lots of fear and anxiety. And even the dog, everybody around her. And as she came in, I just had this knowing that it's her, but I couldn't tell her it's her, because she was like, these are all, everybody around me has got all these things going on. And I just knew that was her reality. It's like, how do I relay this message to her? So yes, I could do sessions on your children, of course I can, because that's now become a physical reality, and yes, they probably do need healing. But and I also often say to them, look, when our children or our families have things going on, it's really good to do a healing on ourselves, because sometimes it can be coming through us as well. So I did finally get her on the table, but I do want to teach people, this is where I'm going to be moving forward to my next field, is to show them that potentially what was happening for them was actually coming up for you. And so how can you go about changing within you, so that your life is responding accordingly to the way that you are thinking and feeling, and also everything that you see around you. Your eyes are portals, so if you're seeing them being unwell, or seeing that's feeding back in as well. So yes, that comes back to all that, Jo. So it's coming up for you. It's coming up for you. Everything around you and that's hard. I know some people out there are going to resist that, and I understand that, and I get that. It's like, well, what do you mean? How can possibly this has happened to me be something that I have created? I understand that. So not to go in and
even to the point of where people can actually play out ways just so you get a lesson. Their beingness has come through to play out something, just so you can move and shift.
Yes, that's
which can be quite ugly sometimes.
It can be really ugly sometimes.
Yeah. So I used to tell this story, and this is really, it's really beautiful. I think I was telling it to a client to make her understand why something was showing up for her. And I said, well, put it like this. Imagine, for example, here we are as formless souls in our pure existence, okay? And you're about to incarnate into a physical body, and in your last incarnation, you needed to learn forgiveness. So out of your soul family, it's like, okay, well, who's going to come and do something really horrible to me? Right? Okay, all right, well, you know what? I need to learn how to, so what would it be? What was the other? I need to learn how to forgive myself. Okay, so I'm a perfect candidate. Okay, so in they come as, they meet up in physical, life, and, and old Joe does something really, really terrible to, Margaret, and, and that's that playing out.
Yeah.
So she's had to learn how to forgive, and he has actually got a learning of how to forgive himself.
Yeah.
So
it's beautiful, isn't it?
yeah.
I do a meditation actually with the girls in my workshops. And it's where they choose two people, one that challenges you, one that you love very dearly. And it's exactly what you just said. It's like, the people that love us don't necessarily come in with the biggest lessons. It's always the ones that we challenge because we want to push them away and we don't want them in our lives. But the hardest part is to be able to embrace them and thank them and be grateful that they're there showing you the lessons, the hardest lessons that you need to learn. For this lifetime, but we want to push them away and not be around them, and we've all experienced that. It's not, no one gets left out with that experience or that lesson.
And that's really beautiful to tell people out there perhaps who are going through relationship issues and saying, well, you know what, perhaps instead of just finishing this, it might not be for my highest good. What if, even though that person is really challenging me and triggering me, it's easy for me to shut them out, but what if I learn to see this differently? And what if I learn, okay, well, why is that person doing it to me? Again, what energy have I got within me that's allowing that person to do that to me, that making me feel unworthy or feeling whatever it might be? So if I can heal that part of myself where that came from and learn how to change that, maybe that person won't need to do that to me anymore.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we can actually live in harmony.
Yeah. It's a bit like that old
be besties or anything, but just actually let go of what it is that is pulling you together.
That old thing where, if you leave your boyfriend and he cheated on me and he did this and that, and then, you leave it and then you meet another guy and he's perfect for the first 6 months.
Yeah. It's going to show for you again.
And then you just, the same lessons will keep showing up.
They will.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And that's, and if you don't learn them, then it's going to keep continuing. So you can learn them, and it's hard because not everybody knows how to shift that. And sometimes in the sessions, it's a bit of a cheat's way of getting there, because people will come and I'll find the vibration, I'll find where it's stored and whereabouts, in which timeline, lifetime it's stored, and we can literally transmute it. But then they have the awareness then, so that actually is like fast tracks them through that.
That's powerful.
Yeah, it's just like to kind of touch in that space of like what our listeners might be experiencing now, like as a little exercise. Even if we're kind of, if we take a minute to just like reflect back on people in our life where we feel like we've been hurt or angered by or misjudged or, compromise or conflict in some way, perhaps if we just do a little mental list or a physical list, whatever works, and go through and say, thank you for the opportunity to experience this. I now let go of the experience
with the person that's being challenged.
Because kind of like a home version of what you do in the clinic, if you want to
that's
like
right.
cozy an energy field around it, and experiencing what you're sharing here today, because it's really fully like resonating in the space that we're sitting in, and I hope that our listeners are feeling the same way, hearing it, but as a way of going forward for each of us. Would that be something like, it's kind of like we talked about a little bit, the Ho'oponopono?
Yes. The Ho'oponopono,
I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you.
I love you. Yes, that's right. Using that if you can at any moment to clear all of that, that forgiveness. But definitely, if you're, those feelings of you know that someone in this lifetime has hurt you, the only way to move on is actually through forgiveness, because otherwise, if you don't forgive them, you are holding the energy of that. Now, I know that can be really quite daunting for some people to forgive, and it's not condoning what they've done, but what you're, if I say every, scratching away at the surface of the heart, there's a pot of gold underneath. So that person did that. They didn't really want to do that to you, but that was for their own traumas that they did that. So if you can learn somehow to forgive, or just understand that you're holding that energy of what they did to you in your body, and then write a little letter, even if it's not to them, to yourself, perhaps, to let go. If you don't want to forgive them, perhaps you can even, based on what the person made me feel, I now choose to let this go. And dear higher self, it's no longer in your highest good to hold on to this energy because it's causing you so much pain. I now choose to let this go.
Yeah.
You can write those letters. If you don't know, a little exercise that I do take my clients through, I'll see if this comes through right. If you don't know where it's coming from because you haven't had any traumas in this lifetime and it's past life or ancestral where it's come from, then you can ask your soulful self. So you sit in mindfulness and you ask your soulful self to take you to the original event or the event that created the feelings, the emotions that's coming up for you. And you can ask to transmute, heal and clear all parts of self. There we go. That created this thoughts, holding on to this emotion, where that emotion's stored. And you can do that time after time. When something's showing up for you and you don't know where it's come from, ask your soul to take you back to that event that's showing up for you and to transmute it from all energetic systems of the body, physical, because it can be stored in different places, right? We do find things in different places, and ask to transmute it and cleanse it and clear it for all time and space, all versions of self as well, in all time and space, because you don't actually know where that's coming from. It can come from I could talk a future timeline. You don't know where that's actually coming from. So just have that awareness. It could be in the quantum field somewhere. So again, you're not buying into the fact that this is something that has happened at this time. Open up that quantum field. This is just in my field somewhere. It's been programmed in my field as a thought somewhere as well. That feeling that's coming up, it's not real. It's just it came from thought. So allowing yourself to step outside of that self and
that's beautiful.
And transmute it and let it go.
Let it go.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a powerful exercise.
I know Einstein talks about, he's a lot around, vibration, frequency, energy, and he talks a lot about you can't heal something from the same level of consciousness it was created on.
They created it,
Yeah. So is he talking about what we're talking about?
So if you can't let go of it in the same space, no, because it's come from fear that's created it. So you've got to let it go from a higher space, right? So it is a different energy. When I'm letting something go, I'm not in that same space that created it. That came from fear. So it's completely
going
different.
in and trying to fight it out with somebody, to work out, because I just need to go in and make it right or whatever. Yeah, that's the same level it was created on. You're not going to change anything in that in there.
Not if you've got the same energy. No, you've got to go and you've got to come out and go, okay, completely change the whole way you feel about that situation.
And view it too.
Yes, you've got to take those glasses off and put a whole new set on. See the situation from a completely different space. See that person in a new light. Yeah. See them as a new light, as someone who's potentially suffered trauma. They didn't mean what they were saying. They couldn't help what they said. That was coming through because they were projecting what was going on for them, and see them as their true self, and then going there as this beacon of love and light. And
that's a big one, I think, for the listeners, that we can't go back in and try and work it out with somebody unless we've had a change of awareness.
You have to have a change of heart.
Yeah.
Change of heart.
Change of heart,
And change of awareness, absolutely.
Yeah.
And as you're saying, to see somebody with new eyes, that is really hard to do unless there is a change of heart,
It's a shift of perception. It's a shift of perception. Everything is perception. Everything that we're talking about here today is all to do with perception. It's how you see things, and how you feel things. Yeah.
And just on that note too, the person that you may have the upset with is viewing it through completely different eyes. And so your story, your story is like not the way they see it.
Yes.
And so basically you are fighting something.
Yes.
It's like
that is not even in the
it's not even real in their eyes.
I know.
It's wild.
Have you ever had a moment where you're in that and you've literally woken up in that moment and you're just having a bit of
like a laugh.
You just go, what the hell?
Yes.
What were we even arguing over?
Yeah.
So
but then you're committed, so you keep going.
Well, some people will. Depends what personality or star sign you are.
So really, with everything that we've literally just talked about just now, and then going back to where we started with thoughts, it's like we really have a choice in the moment to take responsibility and to oh God, I'm getting emotional saying this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is this happening?
Because we're all healing at the moment.
it's-
New moon
yeah.
energies are here, and they're new moon energies are even more powerful than the full moon energies, aren't they? So it's all that clearing and cleansing and stuff's coming up, and things that you want to talk about. You're talking about it because it's actually coming up for you.
It's a new moment. Yeah. It's like, we have a choice in that moment to take responsibility for the greater good, and to bring not only yourself through to a higher place, but the person that's right in front of you. Because we do have that responsibility too, to bring us all through, not just self.
That's right.
And
Got
it's,
goosebumps. For the collective, that's what I'm saying. We have to change now. We all have to take responsibility of our thoughts and our actions. We really do. We really have to realize that what we're talking about today is real.
Yeah.
And that your thoughts, it's imperative that every human on this planet takes action with their thoughts. Okay? And no more buying into negativity, because we have to ascend. Every human has the opportunity and the right to head into these new earth frequencies that are coming through. And in order to do that, we need everybody to just be more love, more light, letting go of what no longer serves, and stop the negativity and the blaming and all those, the shaming and the guilt and all those negative low vibrational frequencies have no place here on this earth anymore. We are done. That's the dark ages. They're done. We've got so much new light coming in. Take the opportunity, everybody got the opportunity to draw in this light and be a better human.
That's everything you're saying too. I get too. That being a better human doesn't mean you have to forgive everybody, and all of that stuff. I mean, you do. Sorry, you do really, but it's like it's going to take you to a better place. It's where you're going is not worse.
It's not about giving in. It's not about losing the battle.
Absolutely.
It's like forgetting about
You'll feel
seeing it in
better.
that space.
You'll feel better.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We want nothing more than just to feel better.
You'll start to create in the moment. You'll start to believe in magic. Like, this is what's happening for me personally. I'm having little things happen to me that fill me with so much joy, and it's like the universe that's giving me. It's not somebody. It's the universe, which is me.
Within you.
That's right.
Is just literally supporting me, and that brings me so much joy. And I'm like, I just want more of that.
And the more that you want, the more you have, the more you'll attract. Isn't it? Because the lighter you become, the more joy you experience. You go, that feels amazing. And that doesn't feel amazing anymore. I'm not going to do that or be around that person anymore. I really love this natural high. We're activating that natural DMT in our brains. All of this, right? We don't need the drugs to give us that high. And it's a really powerful, beautiful high. And it is addictive. Isn't it?
That's so addictive.
So, yes.
And you know what else I've been doing, which thank you for your very first podcast, where you did the I am, calling in the I am. It was so powerful. And for our listeners too, you have to fucking ask. You can't sit back. I mean, yes, you can, and you can create it from that true essence of space, but ask the help, ask the I am, ask your support crew that you can't see. Ask your higher self. Ask your guardian angels. Ask them all to come in.
I was going to say that. I forgot to say that. Yes, you need to ask for help. We do have a team of. You have a team around you. You have your light beings around you. Call them in, but they're literally sitting there having a cup of tea and knitting, and they're waiting for you to ask for help because you have free will. So if you think, why is there so much shit going on in my life? Where are my guardian angels? Well, did you ask them?
Yes, exactly.
And when you do, watch the magic happen. Because I forget sometimes, because I do all the work myself. I do all the transmuting, healing and clearing, and I ask my divine self, and I do stuff, and sometimes the day's like, oh my God, like I really need some help. I'm like, guides, angels, my beautiful team of love and light, can you actually come in and intervene? Because I'm having a really hard time and a hard day. Can you just do something and change this? And magic happens.
And it's like, before you even finish asking, you can feel it. I can feel it.
They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. We're here. What do you need?
I'll put my cup of tea down. I'm going to come with you. Nikki down on Earth, planet Earth needs some help.
All the Nickies are coming in. All the Nickies.
Nikki,
So
is our right
beautiful.
angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes, so thank you for reminding me just that, yes, ask for help. Oh my God, we all have it, whether you believe in them or not, you have them around you, you know.
Yeah, but it is
whether your
important
guides,
to ask.
ancestors, important to ask and
Yeah.
ask your higher self. And
So beautiful.
so that I am presence, adding
Yes.
on to that, I have discovered that is in your heart, you have the oldest cell in your body,
Yeah. Oh.
because there's cells in
I
the
just heated
heart.
up then.
Did you?
I just fully heated up when you said that. Wow.
So like is it the lens of the eyes that never change, but so also so does the cell of your heart.
Oh, wow.
So there's a cell in your heart that when you're growing,
Yeah.
that never changes. It
Oh, wow.
contains all the information.
Oh, God,
So
that
that's
feels
where
so
your I am.
beautiful,
I
doesn't
know.
it?
So when
Yeah.
you call in the I am presence, ask to call it in,
Sparking
seeing into that heart space as well,
Yeah.
because that's really, really potent.
Oh, God, that just feels really potent, doesn't it?
Yes. And you know, calling in the I am presence, bringing that self in, and actually bringing yourself home. So I find lots of my clients when we start that their consciousness, because the consciousness can fragment and expand, and can go to various places, attached to other people and places,
Yes.
such as other people's consciousness and fragments of self can attach to us,
Yes.
right? Which can create a whole load of issues all of their own. So I ask them to come back into their physical body,
Yeah.
because you can't ground or you can't meditate if you're not in your physical body.
Right.
Everybody wants to go out there and, you know, connect to the cosmic and the galactics and all of their divine beings of light, but you have to come home and you have to affirm that your body is safe. My body is safe.
Yeah.
Come home. It is safe to be in the body. This is your home in this lifetime. This is your home.
Yeah.
Come back home. Consciousness and higher self and soul
Yeah.
to come into your physical body. Feel aspects of your physical body. Be here. Be now. Be in this body. Call in the I am presence into that heart space, and then extend and expand the feeling in your heart. If you want to draw in heart energy, draw it in through the back of the heart as blue energy, and you ask to bring in this beautiful healing frequency of love back in through the back of the heart, into your heart. Expand your heart, so you have this expanded heart essence, and you ask to expand that through the physical body and your energetic systems of your body, integrate it into your soul and your consciousness, and expand it all the way out into your life. And you can program that heart energy and that love light into your world, into your quantum field.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because often these energies that we're feeling, like this morning I felt really dense in that space and like pushing up into my neck, and as is even but talking here today, it just fully freeing out because of the energy that's moving through, and I guess, you know, the forgiveness and the, you know, the activations and things. And when you're talking about being grounded in your body, like trauma we often leave our bodies.
Yes,
you know, to come
we
out,
do. Yes, yeah, and you know, and that's it can your soul can fragment, and that's where sometimes, you know, I don't want to lower the conversation into darkness, but that's sometimes where our souls can get taken.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, it's a real thing. I do work in those astral realms, and I realize now why that it is a real thing. You know, we've been coexisting with these dark and denser energies for thousands of years. You know, they have been around, but now we're just becoming more aware of them. So it's not something really anything to be afraid of.
Yeah.
They've always coexisted. We've
Yeah.
always had them attached to us. They come and go. When we lower our frequency and when we go into those lower energies of blame, judgment, and all of that, that's where they exist.
Yeah.
So that's why it's also really important to call yourself into that higher light.
Yeah.
Ask to connect to to the divine source light. Ask to connect to the fifth dimensional light. Bringing yourself out, because those lower dimensional energies are in there, and they can attach. So yeah, when your soul fragments through trauma, sometimes you can be taken to these lower astral realms, which is where I've been shown how to go in and reclaim the soul from there, because it's not always easy to reclaim the soul back.
Wow.
But just so I say through trauma, so calling parts of your soul back into your body.
Yeah.
The highest aspects of self
Yeah.
is always really important to bring that back into your body, affirm that you are in your body,
Yeah.
and then you can ground, and then you can do those beautiful techniques once you're in your body.
I loved how you actually talked about that, because I know for a long time I used to think that being evolving or ascending or any of those words used to be out
out here, and
Yeah.
I always felt like, why don't I ever feel like I'm, you know, like feeling things up there, whatever that meant. I didn't even know what that meant. And it wasn't until I started, you know, listening to other people and yourself as well, saying, no, it's all about being in the body, you know, and then you can expand from being in the body.
Come into your body.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I almost had this amount of relief, like,
Thank
so
God.
I haven't been doing it wrong, you know. Because I think a lot of people do have that, you know,
Yes,
when
absolutely.
you meditate, that you go out, and look, sometimes you may,
You got to be in your body
but you've
first.
got to be in your body first.
If you're not in your body first, you've got to be careful, because you can astral travel, you know. And if your light body, and there's all the stuff that, you know, I can go and talk about for ages, which is your light body technology. And again, you know, there's some 5th to 8th dimensional technologies and frequencies that help you actually activate that. You need your light body activated before you can go into proper meditation and astral travel, because again, you don't know where you're going to go. And you know, I remember making that mistake. I was afraid to meditate a couple of years ago, because as soon as I went into that state, I got pulled down to this darkness, and it was a horrible feeling. Before I learnt about, you know, dark energies and entities, and before I learnt how to clear them.
Yes.
And then once I learned how to clear them, then I could find myself meditating and find myself going into that place of light. But bringing yourself into your body first, rather than being out there, is really, really, really important. Yeah. It's not outer space; it's inner space.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
So
that's
beautiful.
the gold, isn't it?
And also about being like not giving your power away in those spaces either. And when I say that, I mean, like, when we talk about dark energy and all of that, you have to be able to speak up, you know, as well, and take clear guidance from self when you're in those spaces. And because, you know, some people can get taken out too in there, can't they, if they don't.
But affirm that
affirm,
affirming that you are of the light. You you know, you are God sovereign and free, and you do not give any permission for any negative energies to have any interference or control or attachment in any shape or form, any versions of self, all time and space, for all eternity. And so it is. You know, you just affirm that. If you don't know how to do it, and you don't have anyone that can do those clearings for you, if you feel like you are under psychic attack, you just affirm that in the energies of this new light, and also the universal law of free will. There we go. One goes. If you can say that, and you know, then revoke and renounce all agreements and all contracts. In the name of divine law of love and free will, I no longer consent. Because they can't really take you out unless they've got consent, actually.
Well, this is the thing that I've been reading about. There's been these false lights coming in. A false light that's been around.
It's always been around.
Well, they've probably always been.
They hijack everything.
If you don't affirm. You know, because they will come and say all the right things to you. And then you'll hand over your sovereignty, and you know, they've all of a sudden got a hold of you.
Well, I was playing around with. I don't normally call in Archangel Michael. It's not one I because I've been working with Metatron for so long. So I called in Archangel Michael a few months ago. Oh my God! Whatever I called in, I don't. There was something attached to it. Whether it was personally for me, anyway. So I cleared it, and I cleared the energy field of that, and now it's really beautiful, and now I use it all the time.
I think it's like lavender, though. You know, it's a very common essential oil, and I think Archangel Michael. Everybody goes, "Oh, I know that one. I'll call that one," but it's kind of a, you know, a lot of false energies attached to what they're calling in because of the consciousness. It's calling it in, if you want to put it that way.
They can hijack things, you know, but again, but not going into fear, because they're just light. Once again, they are just light. When I clear them, what I find now, I've learned how to clear these dark energies really easily, really quickly. There's lots of different types of them. Is that most of them want to ascend anyway. Okay, so when they're attached to a client, I always ask, like, how am I going to remove it? Does it want to go back to where it's come from? Is it lost, or does it want to ascend? And most of the time, I just clear their own contracts, and then they ascend, and I can feel them going, and you know, them feel lighter.
They're like, get me out of here!
That's right. That's right.
I wanted to ask.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say that you literally get like how, you know, with how mankind has written the Bible and all these, recreated the stories from the galactic history. and created heaven and hell, and you know nobody wants to go to hell. And there's dark energies down here. I just want to get out.
Yes, that's right. Maybe we can get rid of hell, you know, and send all these dark energies over to the light, and off you go. Return back to source. Go back to your original, you know, original.
Ticket to ride. Where ticket to ride?
Yes.
That's probably just the other perception of what we've been talking about.
It is. It's just light and dark, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
I want to ask, because I'm one of these people that always says, I want to, you know, I'd love to sit with an alien, or I'd love to.
You know, wanting to do it forever.
But not at 3 a.m. in the morning when it's
Let me tell you something. Here's my other friend.
Yes. You know, and I'd love to be able to meet an archangel or whatever, but in my mind, I feel like I'm very a physical feeler person. So whenever I talk about things, it's always coming from a feeling place. So for you, if you don't mind me asking, what is it that you feel or see, or when you're clearing and when you're talking to and when you're connecting with, what is the feeling for you?
Okay. So it's different for everybody. Okay. Some people see when they're doing something, they actually see beings coming and taking things, right? I've got someone who works like that, and she's like, oh yeah, so-and-so's come here and she just removed it from here. For me, I guess I'm more clairsentient. It comes as a feeling of energy. That's why in my sessions, you hear me doing this deep breath. So as I'm clearing energy or stress or whatever it might be from somebody, it comes as a big wave of energy. It hits me, and then I clear it through my breath.
Yeah, because I've heard you go,
yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, what's going on?
So I now say to my clients, no, I'm going to be doing this for the whole session. Just ignore me. It can get quite noisy.
Yeah.
I've tried doing it another way, and I just end up taking it all on.
And for Nikki listeners, she's extremely petite.
Yeah, vivacious,
yeah, but she has this amazing whoosh that she does that sounds like it's coming from a picnic.
Sometimes a bit of like, whoa, where did that come from? Some people, some shamans, they belch. You'll hear them belching when they're clearing energy. But I didn't really want to burp all through my session, so I'm quite glad I do it this way.
Yeah.
But the feeling, Joe, so different energies have different feelings. You know, you'll hold a crystal and you can hold it and you're asked to feel into the feeling of that crystal. It's a good way to play around with learning different frequencies, is to play with a different crystal, hold a different crystal, and just allow the feeling. Or close your eyes, like maybe you don't pick a crystal, don't even look at it, you know, and then allow that feeling to come in. You'll start feeling a frequency. Okay. So it's a frequency. So when I'm calling in things, it's different frequencies. I generally think for my clearings, I've been using the same frequency technology from the same guides and beings. But there are different. So when I'm doing an Akashic clearing, sometimes there is a trauma that needs to be literally whitewashed from the physical, and then we transmute the imprint, the echo of it from somewhere in the energetic systems of the body. That comes through from a different place. That is whoever I'm dealing with there, it's a completely different energy. It feels different. I can feel it coming in. I can feel it coming into the body, and I can just feel this whitewash, this white clearing of the trauma, and then I feel the energy shift in my client, or the energy I'm not working with the client. It's like a hologram. I'm working with the energy in the quantum field when I'm working. That's why the client doesn't actually have to even be there. I just tap into the energy and I can feel things shift. It's quite difficult for me to explain because it is all in frequencies, I guess. But there are some times when some beings come through and I'm going, oh my God, there is actually somebody here. And I can get an outline of the shape, you know, and I get almost like a visual. And that's really cool.
That's beautiful.
That's really cool. I love that when that happens.
Do you kind of feel at home when that happens? Like it's sort of like...
I cry.
It's
when they
like
come
that,
through.
that loving,
when they come through. If I'm working with somebody, like the other day, we had an ancestor that just came through.
Because that's so much what I would do too. I'd be like,
and I'm sitting, I'm crying, and I'm going, and I was like, I'm crying. I'm going, I'm so sorry. I said, these are tears of joy.
Yeah.
They're not, I'm not crying, because I'm picking up on your energies, your emotions. I said, when really divine beings come through or something, and they come through with a message for you, I start crying.
Yeah, I just feel so grateful that you're experiencing that.
Yeah, so all different. But look, I do feel that things are about to shift. I have asked, you said asking. I said to my guys, okay, I can feel that you've shown me all there is to know about the darkness. I'm going to wrap it up. I know that you've told me that I have to write it in some sort of format. I'm starting to see that now, how that might look. I think it might be a kinesiology or muscle testing chart to go through and teach people how to clear those things, because they will need to pass them on. It still needs to be in the field. So I sense that, but I can see that wrapping up, and I know that I'm going to be tapping into working with new technologies that I'm talking about, and how to work with these technologies in the quantum field, activating. Not sure yet, it hasn't really all come through, but that's all absolutely fine. But in the meantime, I feel like I'm going to be, I'd love to start venturing out there outside my space, my healing space, and getting out there more, and maybe doing retreats and things like that, where I can do energy healing on these retreats and perhaps teach people some things. And
like a group energy, you mean?
Like in retreats, not one-on-one, doing groups, with everything that I've been taught, putting that in some sort of format where I can actually do that on a group level. And like some of the other guests before me, I've been so interested in theta healing and my shamanic training. I was going to do that 3 years ago, but my guides obviously taught me all this astral clearing stuff first. So that's still in the pipeline. I'd love to do my breath work teacher training and my qigong teacher training. I've got so much to do. And I want to do all of that, but I also know that I will be tapping into all this new technology coming in and working with those frequencies.
That kind of feels like it.
It's very galactic. I'm not quite sure what it is yet. It's very galactic. The galactic history will activate it, Mandy. Yes, that's what I'm sensing as well. So that's what I need to go and learn about them. Then I can learn with what technologies are coming through. The world's our oyster, isn't it? There's endless possibilities of
just
whatever.
Connecting in with what you were saying before around the technologies and things like that. Like I know when I'm feeling unclear or in a not my self space, in my thoughts, I get so much like spam emails, fraud stuff coming through,
all the physical world stuff
through the IT, my phone, all that kind of stuff. The stupid Lorna Jane website. Oh my god!
There is a fake Lorna Jane website.
Is there?
Lorna Jane.
All of that kind of stuff just seems to be so active, and it's like a sign for me to go, oh, okay, clean yourself up.
Spiritual clearing.
Create, divine light, all that type of thing, and it just stops.
Amazing.
That's a great example, actually, what you're saying for our listeners.
Yes,
too,
when you see junk.
That's a really great physical world indication that you really need to have a bit of the clean up is when, even though we all get spam and all that, but when you actually start to notice a lot of these things happening around you, it's all happening for you. It's time to actually have a bit of a clean up, a bit of a tidy up of the thoughts, a tidy up of other things, energy space, and just watch how you don't notice that spam or that, all that little
don't accept
fiddly things happening around you.
And I love that, Jo, because you then have actually given the listeners like, what's the word for it? The knowing. To look for those things, that ability to tap into.
I love signs.
Yeah, signs. Yeah, and tap into.
I love signs.
I prefer feathers. But
and that's just me needing validation, which I'm getting much better at trusting that, Jo, you don't need validation for everything. It just
trust.
is. Just trust.
But it's also fun to know that your guides, the light energies are around, the light team's there.
Yes, that's right.
I love what you're thinking about with the handbook, the kinesiology handbook, because I think something like that would just be such a beautiful.
We need another one.
I remember when my auntie
spiritual kinesiology or quantum kinesiology.
Well, the body is the barometer of the soul. It has been around for since the 1970s. I've still got that book. Very long time. And then Louise Hay has another one which has been around probably the same amount of time.
The old ones are the best ones, aren't they?
They are.
It's all in there.
But we've evolved,
They're quite
Nikki.
pure,
We are new beings.
Yeah, we're Homo luminous now.
We are.
Yes.
We need a new book.
Humans.
Nikki Symons has got to write one.
Well, I am being told, and it was funny because before I knew this myself, I had someone a long time ago, a couple of years ago, she said, you're gonna write a book. And I'm like, what? You're going to write a book? She said, yes, you are. And you're going to go and talk about it.
Yeah.
And now I'm in the energy of that field. And now I'm even sensing from my guides, they're going, I even bought a digital notebook a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And which was just for my sessions. But now, because you can have hundreds of notebooks on there. So I've got one, for all downloads. I've got one from my workshops. I've got a notebook, and I'm going, okay, now I know why I needed this.
Realised.
Because it's all in one, rather than, because I literally have like 3 or 4 notebooks lying around my space.
Guilty.
So it's all in there. And I feel like I can feel the energy of that coming, even in my sessions this week, when I was muscle testing through my own old charts. I was visualizing a new one. Even though I hadn't written it in there, I was muscle testing through my new chart, which was in my mind. So I'm going, okay, now I can start to see it.
Yeah.
So I think
getting the downloads already.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My auntie, my beautiful auntie Patricia, my mum's sister, she many years ago, probably about must be like 40 years ago, did a muscle testing, a kinesiology workshop, part of some yoga retreat she was doing. And at a family lunch, she was like, okay, I'm going to share this all with you. And she had us all in the lounge room, and my cousins, there was like 3 different family groups there, and did muscle testing on all of us, and like holding, all the smokers in the room were holding their packet of cigarettes, and like, and then thinking of sugar, and like, all get taken, no energy, and thinking about other things that were obviously good for you, like, say whatever, an apple or sunshine, or the strength that was in the body. And so just as a fun example of what you're saying with your book, like imagine having one of those in the home, in the family home, and then everyone just having a bit of fun with it around that space, and going, okay, well, why have you got a cold this week? Let's go through some things,
Yes.
Well, that's the world we're moving
this
into.
Week,
Yes.
That's the new earth we're moving into, where we, medication hopefully will be pushed aside, and there'll be new medications that come through that actually support the energy and vibration of a being, instead of
going back to how it was meant to be. We're using plant medicine to heal every ailment. And that's all part of the new earth energies. That's all part of that new. That's where we're going back to, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
And acknowledging the consciousness of the plants as a living being, as well as not seeing it as a green leaf, or and the way you talk about the new earth, Nikki, and when you're in your treatments and things, let alone in this space where you're sharing your knowledge. You actually connect in with it, and you help people see it too. It's quite it's a real space.
It is an activation. That's right. It is. It is. It does help, I think, to actually activate them being in that space, and just talking about those energies. Yeah, it's clearing, activating, and it's aligning them to those energies, aligning them to that new earth. Yeah,
and their truth.
Yes.
When we're nearly.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't want to waste the moment, but is there anything else you want to share with our listeners while we've got you here before we have to close this out?
Or
any advice? Anything you want to give the listeners to take away?
If I can just again, being aware of those thoughts, realizing you are not them. Okay, whatever you're going through in your mind, whatever's playing out for you in your life, it can change. It's okay. All right. Come and seek help. See me. See someone else.
Yeah.
If something's playing out for you over and over, and you think that this is it for you, it's not. Yeah. Okay. It can be changed and shifted. Yeah. And just the new earth. You've probably reading, hearing things through social media that are quite holding lots of dense energy. Shut it out. Let it go. Don't listen. Don't watch it. New earth, okay, it's 2 timelines. Just knowing that there is a new timeline, okay, and even though logically you possibly can't think, well, how can we repair this earth, and don't buy into those thoughts, okay, just believe in magic. If anything, new earth frequencies are here, it will repair itself. We have new technologies coming in that's going to help to repair the earth, so don't worry about the devastation. And just hold the light that's coming in. Lots of people say, what do I do with this light coming in? It's buzzing in my body. It needs to come through you. Okay, so when we have these big solar flares and we have all these massive amounts of photon light coming in from the galactic core that are knocking you around, and you've got ascension symptoms, let it come in. It has to come in. It's going to come in. It's going to cleanse. Feel it cleansing all the density and all those old programs from you. Flush it down into the earth. And when you ground, ask to ground into new earth. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your grounding techniques, and you can't get that cord down into the center of the earth, ask to go down to new earth. Okay. It's a little bit slightly different.
That feels epic.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to put all of Nikki's details, because I know you're going to be probably getting inundated after this one. At the end of this podcast.
Yes, I have a new website coming up, new logo. Yes. So the old website, I do apologise. It's like 10 years out of date. I've got none of this stuff on there. I know.
You have.
I have.
Yeah, moving energy around.
And this is why I bought a digital notebook as well, so I can bring back my website. So it's very old, and haven't been very active on social media. But this is a whole new. I'm stepping out of that phase now. Yeah. And I've got my wings. My guides told me, and I can be more active. And I'd love to start sharing some techniques as well on my socials. So I will be more active. Just give me time to get my website written. Yeah. And once that's all done, then I'll be more active and start sharing some stuff that's coming through.
Absolutely. We'll Nikki is on Instagram, which you can contact her through that. So that might be the easiest way.
Yeah, through Instagram, Facebook, Path to Wellness, which is about to change to Path to Wellness.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all perfect. All perfectly aligned.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you, lovely ladies, for allowing me to talk today.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and remember, all links to our guest are in the notes. Leave us some comment here or message us on Instagram how our guest today connected with you, or perhaps something you wish to share. A special thank you to the blissful Kinesiologist for our theme song. Joe and I will be with you next week.
Bye.
Ciao.
She teaches me lessons, and boy does she sing. Her voice sways like a hummingbird, flies like a shooting star. She whispers you